What's up guys, my name is Adapt and welcome back to another video on the channel. So guys, we have another formation review for you guys, and in today's video we are going to be doing the formation review on the all new 4-2-4 formation. This is one which I'm very excited to bring you guys a formation review on, simply because it's new and we've never seen a formation like this in Ultimate Team before, you know. 4 players up top. It looks absolutely crazy the way the formation is set up. We've never seen this on Ultimate Team before as well. But before we get into this formation review, what I want to talk about is the FUT draft. So obviously when I'm making these videos, these formation reviews and stuff, I've been playing the FUT draft less, obviously, because I've been getting gameplay for these formation reviews on Division Rivals. But I don't know, I'm not really enjoying the draft. You can argue that, you know, in one of my drafts, I got to the semi-final. I got to the finals and lost in the finals. In one of my drafts, I lost in the semis. So I haven't won a draft yet. My draft record isn't too great. You know, it isn't terrible at the same time. But I just feel that with loads of these amazing players running around so early on, you know, you're seeing Ronaldo's, Neymar's on the pitch, and it's so early on in the game, you know. I really enjoy the beginning of the game when everyone's got their budget teams. Everyone's just grinding to try and get the great players. I just like it when there's Lacazette's on the pitch. I like it when there's Morata's on the pitch, you know. Not the too expensive players. When you've got Ronaldo running around everywhere and just overpowered players in every position, the best players, like some other people already have pretty much near enough full icon teams. They put loads of FIFA points into the game and they've already got the best teams. But I just enjoy the grind, really. That's just my opinion anyway. So now we're getting into the formation review. So this is much different to other formations in regards to only having 2 centre mids. We've got a left wing and a right wing, and then we've got 2 strikers up top. So I don't think we've seen a formation with 2 strikers and then you've got 2 wingers. We haven't seen that before in Ultimate Team. And obviously we got the 4 back and a 2-man midfield. So it was really interesting to see how this 2-man midfield really played out. Now, I'm going to get into the custom tactics. I'm going to show you guys what I put the custom tactics on. So for defensive style, I left it on balanced, you know. We've only got a 2-man midfield. Very important here. We don't want everyone over-committing. The midfield is already lacking cover in the defensive department. I don't want to cripple them even more by just making them press up. And this whole team will just, everyone will go out of position and my midfield will be open. If you lose that midfield battle, you're going to be in huge trouble. So the 2-man midfield puts us at a slight disadvantage when we're defending, you know. This is an extremely attacking formation, but that's the risk you take. And in reward, you're more likely to score goals with more players in advanced roles on the pitch. For width, I kind of put players closer together, you know. I know that we haven't got a lot of players defending, you know. We've only got a 2-man midfield, but we do have 4 at the back. And I think that there is opportunity for players to back each other up, and maybe my wingers, you know, they've got the pace to get back and try and help sometimes. Depth, I kind of left out where it was at as well. I don't really play with that too much. Depth and width, you're really going to change in game, later on in games when you're pushing for goals and when you want to defend a lead. That's when you change these defensive width and depth, you know, tactics. Getting into offense, we have the offensive style on force build up. Width, I kind of put my players further apart from each other. We do have wingers in this formation as well, so they're going to be getting in behind and cutting inside. Then players in the box, turn that up. Well, I didn't turn it up too much. It's kind of at a respectable standard. You know, we do have wingers, therefore I'm not completely going to eliminate the, you know, option of crossing. I'm going to try sometimes, you know. I'm not much of a crosser, but the opportunity might arise, especially with wingers in this formation. Getting into corners, I kind of left it at, you know, 3 bars, and then for free kicks, left it at 3 bars as well. Now getting into the instructions, I have Felipe Luis and Klein on stay back or attacking. You'll barely catch me with my fullbacks, as always overlap or, you know, balanced. I want my fullbacks to really help out my defense, and I don't want to get exposed down the wings. For my two centre mids, my left centre mid, I have on balanced attack and I have him on cover wing. Pretty much everything else, everything I kind of left the same really, everything's on default. And then for Kaita, I put him on cover centre and stay back while attacking, because he's going to be more of my defensive midfielder in this formation. For my first winger, Pedro, I've got him on cut inside and getting behind. I've also got him on comeback on defense. Then for my left wing, I have him on comeback on defense, cut inside and getting behind. So those are my two wingers, you know. I pretty much have the same tactics on both of them, you know. They're both very capable players. They're not the quickest, you know. Pedro definitely isn't the quickest, but he can do the job of a winger, you know. He's got good dribbling stats. He's a decent all-round player, especially in this point in FIFA so early on. It doesn't really matter because not a lot of people have the best players yet. So our first striker, Lacazette, is on getting behind and stay forward, simply because he's the quicker of... Is he quicker than Batshuayi? I'm not 100% sure. Let me go ahead and check that. So Batshuayi has... Well, Lacazette has 81 pace and Batshuayi has 76. So yeah, Lacazette is the quicker one out of the two. And that's why I've got him on getting behind. You know, he's going to be able to cause more problems running on the inside of defenders. And he's going to be able to score a load of goals for me, in my opinion. I've got him on stay forward as well, because you know what, I've got my left wing and my right wing getting back for me. They're going to be doing defensive duties if needed. Then in left striker, we have Batshuayi, who's also on getting behind and stay forward. You know, he's perfectly capable of acquiring speed, you know. He's a very dangerous player when he wants to be. So I've got both of them on stay forward and getting behind. This is a very attacking formation, you know. If anyone's going to come back and help my defense, it's going to be my wingers. I think my strikers should stay up there and remain up there for pretty much all of the game. So those are my instructions, my formation and my tactics. Roles I'm not going to show you. This is a formation review. So now we're going to get into the gameplay. So see you guys in the gameplay. Now, with this formation, I was genuinely curious to see how it would play in game, you know. This is the first FIFA we've seen the 4-2-4 introduced into it, the first Ultimate Team. And I really just wanted to see how it would play. This was the formation at the beginning. I was genuinely like, you know what, this could be the best formation in the game, or it can be a complete misery. It could be the death of my team, metaphorically, or it could just be something very, very good and just lead me to just win every single game. So I was really curious. A very peculiar formation in comparison to past formations that have been on this FIFA in Ultimate Team wise. I'm not talking about seasons, because this formation has been in seasons for a very long time. Now, first thing I want to say about this formation before we get into the advantages or disadvantages is don't run this at the beginning of the game, you know. Don't run something which is too attacking or too defensive at the beginning of the game, except for, these are the exceptions, okay? If you're way better than your opponent and you know that bullying him and putting pressure on him and just attacking him, completely being on him, and completely just rushing him with all your attackers, all your quick players in your squad, if you know you're so much better than your opponent, then feel free to do so. That's the only exception I'd really have for this formation, starting it at the beginning of the game, when you know you're just miles better than your opponent. There's really no battle, you know. You just want to absolutely annihilate him. Maybe you need goals to do some weekly objectives. Maybe you just want to score more goals with your player and get his stats up. But the only time I'd recommend using this formation at the beginning of the game, you know, is when that is the case, you know, and you're way better than your opponent. Why I wouldn't start with this formation is the midfield is nowhere to be found, okay? When you're getting counter-attacked, you'll have two midfielders in there, and they'll just get isolated. They wouldn't know what to do. they just get run over pretty much, and that invites pressure onto yourself. If you're in complete possession of the ball and you're way better than your opposition, feel free to use the 4-2-4 from the beginning. But when there's a challenge, when I mean a challenge, a tiny bit of a challenge, you know, maybe you haven't got at least 70-80% possession, you need to use a formation which is a neutral formation. Neutral formations are the 4-3-3, normal variation, according to me, the 4-1-2-1-2 brackets 2, 4-1-2-1-2, just something with balance, because this formation doesn't have balance, you know. It isn't reasonable to start the game off with, except for the exceptions I did say earlier on in this video. If you do choose to play with this formation from the beginning and your opponent is better than you, you're gonna get punished. You guys are seeing, you know, on one hand you might see all of these goals and be like, you know what, it's gonna be like me in game, you know, I'm just gonna score many goals. But as you're seeing me score goals, you're gonna see me concede goals. That's the disadvantage with this. You have to be ready to concede goals. This is a formation you switch to when you're losing later on in the game, when your opponent's players run out of fitness and you bring on a new quick winger to try and, you know, inject some pace through the wings in the 4-2-4 and try and score you a goal. So that is pretty much, so if 4 minutes in, I think I clicked on the wrong clip actually. So this is meant to be a 7-minute clip. So I'm gonna load up the actual clip. So 4 minutes in. So another advantage of this formation would be, it's very good attacking wise, you know. There's nothing really much to complain about when you're attacking, but the main lookout that I have is just defensive. Am I going to be secure in the defense if I'm starting with this formation? That's what your main lookout is, because just as important as attacking is, defending can be just as important. If you're keeping clean sheets, then you're not going to lose games. Disadvantages, obviously I've told you. Another advantage I said was you have an urge in the team. Players are hungry to push up, you know. They're completely dedicated to getting up the pitch and trying to score a goal for you. But with other formations, players go into things half-heartedly. If you truly want your players to attack and be ruthless, then this is the formation to switch to. That's what I was saying earlier on in this video. If you're way better than your opponent and you can bully him into his own half and just score several goals, you know you're just better on the sticks than your opponent, then by all means use this formation. But whenever there's a little battle, your midfield you're gonna lose most times. If your opponent's using a 4-man midfield and you got a 2-man midfield which just shy away, you're gonna get dominated, and midfields win games, especially in the balanced game. You know, say for example I was playing someone on my similar skill level. I had Kante and Pogba in the middle, and my opponent had Hullet and who's another good midfielder, Modric for example. I'm just giving an example here. Who's gonna win, Hullet and Modric or Pogba and Kante? Players are the same skill level. Actually, forget I said more Modric. Let's say Vieira and Hullet versus Kante and Pogba. Vieira and Hullet are gonna win, aren't they? Because they're just simply better, you know. They're simply better. And the 4-man midfield, you know, it can be a very lonely place for them two midfielders. You can get victimized if you don't use this formation when you are supposed to. So guys, we're coming to the end of the gameplay, I do believe. I don't really know where I am with the time, because obviously I have 2 different gameplay videos on my computer and I clicked on the wrong one. I do remember it being 7 minutes kind of long, but we got the pros and the cons written down on the video on the side. And overall, you know what, I'm going to give the rating. When I'm making these videos, I'm referring to every formation as a formation to start the game with. So to start the game with, I'd give this a 7 out of 10. Why? The midfield is just completely isolated, and that's the truth. So guys, that is this video coming to an end. If you enjoyed this formation review, if you want to see more formation reviews on the channel. Make sure you smash that like button. Also make sure you subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you guys in the next video. See you guys later. Peace.